Pickup trucks are supposed to be the toughest machines on the road. But what if I told you some of the priciest ones rolling off the lot today are the very same trucks mechanics whisper about as walking disasters? Imagine paying 60, 70, even 80 grand for a rig that can't survive 30,000 miles without coughing up an engine. Which trucks are secretly draining wallets and patience across America? Stick around, because this list might change your shopping plans forever. Nissan Titan. Let's start with the truck that turned Titan into a joke among mechanics. On paper, Nissan promised a powerhouse with its 5.6-liter V8. In reality, owners found themselves stranded with catastrophic failures before even hitting the 30,000-mile mark. We're talking engines burning oil like they're auditioning for a barbecue, timing chains rattling themselves into oblivion, and full-on engine seizures that left trucks stuck on the side of the road. But the nightmare doesn't stop under the hood. Nissan's transmission paired with the Titan is so fragile that many units don't even last 2 years. Stories abound of drivers spending $7,000 or more to replace a gearbox on a truck barely out of warranty. Add electrical gremlins, crashing infotainment systems, backup cameras that go dark, and sensors that fail at triple the industry average. And you've got a truck more famous for service appointments than towing capacity. The final insult? Resale value. A Titan that cost $55,000 new can plummet to barely $30,000 in just 2 years. Buyers know the risk, and dealers practically beg to move them off the lot. Mechanics don't just suggest avoiding the Titan. They warn it's a financial sinkhole dressed up as a full-size pickup. When the most respected testers in America recommend skipping a truck entirely, that's not a review. That's a rescue mission. The Titan is one to leave parked at the dealership. Ram Heavy Duty, next up, the Ram Heavy Duty line. The trucks that should have been unstoppable workhorses. Instead, they're famous for blowing up budgets. The Cummins diesel engine, once praised as bulletproof, has been plagued with failures when paired with Ram's setup. Turbochargers implode, high-pressure fuel pumps collapse, and emission systems choke the trucks into limp mode. Imagine a $75,000 heavy-duty rig crawling along like it's dragging an anchor. That's the reality many owners face. But mechanical chaos is only half the story. Ram's electrical system has become a mechanic's recurring nightmare. Dead instrument clusters, air conditioning that quits in the middle of summer, or total shutdowns requiring tows. These failures hit at rates far higher than Ford or GM rivals. And if you think the warranty will save you, think again. Many Ram owners discover their most common failures fall outside coverage due to technical exclusions. Service times? Forget it. Ram dealerships are flooded with warranty claims, leaving owners without their trucks for weeks or even months. A landscaper in Ohio told Consumer Reports his $78,000 Ram spent 47 days in the shop in its first 18 months. That's not reliability, that's rental car purgatory. These Rams might look like beasts, but under the skin, they're high-priced experiments gone wrong. Mechanics say if you rely on your truck for work, betting on a Ram Heavy Duty could cost you your livelihood. Ford F-150 Lightning. The hype was sky-high for Ford's all-electric Lightning. The promise: America's favorite truck reborn with silent high-tech power. The reality? A $70,000 beta test buyers unknowingly signed up for. Ford marketed a 300-mile range, but most owners see just 180 to 220 miles, and that's before winter or towing. Worse, many report battery degradation of 20% in the first year. Suddenly, that shiny new Lightning feels more like a glorified golf cart. The problems don't end with range. The Lightning has been hit with wave after wave of software disasters. Ford has issued dozens of over-the-air updates, but each fix seems to break something else. Owners joke that their trucks update more often than their phones. And then there's the charging nightmare. Failed home chargers, error codes that prevent recharging, even cases where faulty systems sparked house fires. Mechanics point out another big issue: Ford dealers aren't ready to repair these trucks. Specialized training, equipment, and parts just aren't there, leading to months-long waits for fixes. Combine that with more than a dozen recalls in the first year, and the Lightning feels less like the future and more like a rushed experiment. If you want to be a guinea pig, the Lightning is waiting. But if you want a truck that won't leave you stranded, mechanics say, skip this flashy gamble. Chevrolet Silverado HD. Chevrolet's Silverado HD should have been the pride of job sites across America. Instead, it's left many owners and mechanics shaking their heads. The issue begins with the much-hyped 6.6-liter Duramax diesel. Once considered a reliable workhorse, the modern version has buckled under emissions complexity. Injectors fail, turbochargers disintegrate, and entire engines need replacement before 40,000 miles. For a truck marketed as professional grade, that's anything but. Even the once trusted Allison transmission has joined the failure parade. Mechanics report torque converter blowouts, valve body breakdowns, and complete seizures happening before the odometer even cracks 50,000 miles. And when it fails, expect to fork over $8,000 or more for repairs. Add constant diesel exhaust fluid system breakdowns that throw the truck into limp mode, and you're staring at thousands in recurring bills. Chevy made matters worse with subpar interiors that wear down fast. Imagine paying $70,000 for a truck and watching the seats split, the dashboard crack, and the electronics quit like it's a budget compact. Even die-hard Chevy loyalists are throwing in the towel. When a truck spends more time at the dealer than at the job site, it's not heavy duty. It's heavy disappointment. Mechanics say the Silverado HD is one of GM's most painful flops. Toyota Tundra. Toyota built its name on reliability, but the redesigned Tundra broke that legacy in one swing. Instead of the trusty V8, Toyota went all in on a twin-turbo V6 and hybrid systems. Sounds modern, right? Wrong. Mechanics are already seeing catastrophic turbo failures, intercooler leaks, and complete engine breakdowns before 25,000 miles. For a brand that once defined bulletproof trucks, this is a shocking reversal. The hybrid system has only made things worse. Cooling failures, electric motor malfunctions, and buggy software have stranded owners and confused even Toyota's seasoned mechanics. Service departments report they're overwhelmed, lacking the training or parts to deal with this new wave of breakdowns. And it's not just under the hood. Quality control on the new Tundra has slipped badly. Owners complain about paint that chips within weeks, misaligned body panels, and cheap interior trims falling apart. One lifelong Toyota fan put it bluntly: "This isn't the Toyota I grew up with." Resale value? Another gut punch. Where older Toyotas held value like gold, the new Tundra is depreciating nearly 40% faster. Loyal buyers who once bragged about their trucks lasting forever now feel betrayed. The Tundra's collapse isn't just mechanical, it's emotional. For many, this truck represents the end of Toyota's trust. Mechanics say, unless Toyota goes back to basics, steer clear. GMC Sierra 1500. On the surface, the GMC Sierra 1500 looks like the Silverado's more polished cousin. Sleek styling, luxury touches, and that professional grade badge. But talk to mechanics, and they'll tell you the diesel versions of this truck are an absolute money pit. The culprit? A temperamental DEF system and emissions package that seems designed to fail. Owners regularly complain about limp mode kicking in at the worst possible times. Highways, job sites, even while towing. Imagine your $65,000 truck suddenly crawling along at 55 miles per hour, while lights on the dash scream for service. Mechanics report these repairs can run upwards of $3,000 per incident, and many customers face multiple failures per year. That's not just bad luck, that's systemic. The Sierra also suffers from electrical failures that don't match its premium price tag. From touchscreen malfunctions to sudden loss of climate control, these annoyances pile up fast. A truck marketed as near luxury shouldn't behave like an unreliable compact car. Yet mechanics say they see Sierras coming back for the same electrical gremlins again and again. Add the fact that resale values have taken a hit because word has spread about these reliability issues. And the Sierra 1500 diesel feels less like a flagship and more like a cautionary tale. If you want luxury, there are better places to spend your money. And if you want durability, there are better trucks to buy. Mechanics say the Sierra diesel is all image, no staying power. Ford Ranger. The Ranger returned to America with plenty of hype. A mid-size truck with turbocharged pep sounded like the perfect blend of power and practicality. But ask a mechanic, and they'll tell you the Ranger's 2.3-liter turbo engine is a ticking time bomb. Overheating, coolant leaks, and outright turbo blowouts have plagued owners well before hitting the 60,000-mile mark. For a truck that's supposed to be rugged, that's a brutal letdown. Transmission woes pile onto the misery. Many Rangers suffer from severe shuddering, slipping gears, or complete gearbox failures. Mechanics say these problems aren't just occasional flukes, they're disturbingly common. Throw in steering rack problems that make the truck feel unpredictable on the road, and suddenly the Ranger looks like a risky bet for anyone needing reliability. The frustration goes beyond mechanics. Owners who bought the Ranger expecting built Ford tough are stunned by how often their trucks end up on lifts instead of trails. And while Ford has tried to patch issues with recalls and updates, the damage to the truck's reputation is already done. The Ranger is proof that turbocharging everything doesn't guarantee strength. Mechanics say if you need a dependable mid-size truck, look elsewhere before this one leaves you stranded. Ram 1500 EcoDiesel. On paper, the Ram 1500 EcoDiesel sounded like the future. Better fuel efficiency, impressive torque, and bragging rights for going green while still hauling heavy loads. In practice, it turned into a fiasco so widespread that class action lawsuits and buybacks followed. Mechanics have long warned that this engine was a bad bet. The issues are almost endless. Oil dilution, where fuel contaminates the oil and causes premature wear. Timing chain failures that can ruin an engine. Emission systems that break down so often they've stranded owners multiple times in a single year. And when these parts fail, the bills are staggering. One small business owner reported losing tens of thousands of dollars after her EcoDiesel spent weeks in the shop, only to be bought back under lemon laws. Mechanics say the EcoDiesel wasn't just unreliable, it was fundamentally flawed in design. Even well-meaning owners who kept up on maintenance couldn't escape the breakdown cycle. Dealers were swamped with repeat visits, and many technicians admitted they simply didn't have consistent fixes for the most common failures. The EcoDiesel sold an illusion of efficiency, but what it really delivered was constant repair bills and broken trust. Mechanics say if you see one on the lot, walk away quickly. Chevrolet Colorado / GMC Canyon. Before their recent redesigns, the Colorado and Canyon twins became infamous among mechanics for their weak reliability records. The key problem often started with transmissions, jerky shifts, total failures, and expensive replacements happening far too early in ownership. Imagine buying a new truck and having the gearbox disintegrate before 60,000 miles. That's not durability. That's disappointment. But the headaches didn't stop there. Steering racks often failed, leaving drivers with dangerously loose or unpredictable handling. Air conditioning systems collapsed under pressure, sometimes multiple times in the same truck. Electrical gremlins haunted these models as well, with infotainment screens that froze and basic functions cutting out at random. Mechanics say it became routine to see these trucks come back again and again, each time with a new and expensive issue. The compact truck market is supposed to be about affordability and practicality, but these GM models flip that script. Instead of being budget-friendly companions, they became long-term money pits. Resale values tanked, and word spread fast among mechanics and truck forums. If you see an early Colorado or Canyon, think twice. While GM's newer models may improve, the older generations of Colorado and Canyon left a legacy of letdowns. Mechanics call them midsize mistakes that aged poorly and cost owners dearly. Ford Superduty. For decades, the Superduty lineup has been Ford's pride, hauling massive loads and owning job sites. But the 6.7-liter Power-stroke diesel has tainted that reputation with problems that mechanics say are both common and crushingly expensive. The most notorious issues include failing EGR systems, turbochargers that quit under heavy use, and fuel injector breakdowns. And when these parts go, they don't just nibble at your wallet, they devour it. Mechanics report injector or turbo replacements can cost $10,000 or more. Add fragile emissions equipment prone to collapse, and the repair bills stack up faster than most owners can believe. Another recurring complaint: DEF system breakdowns that shove the truck into limp mode, killing its hauling ability until it's repaired. Combine that with electrical complexity that overwhelms many service departments, and you've got trucks spending weeks waiting for diagnosis instead of working. To make matters worse, resale values dip once buyers catch wind of these issues. A truck marketed as the ultimate workhorse becomes a risky investment once the warranty expires. Mechanics who've turned wrenches on these rigs say bluntly, once the warranty is gone, you're on your own financially. The Superduty still looks the part, but underneath, the Power-stroke has proven too fragile for its price. Mechanics warn, be ready to spend big, or better yet, spend your money elsewhere. And there you have it. 10 trucks mechanics say are more trouble than they're worth. From Nissan's Titan meltdown to Toyota's shocking Tundra betrayal, these rigs prove that not every big, shiny pickup is built to last. So, which one surprised you the most? Did your dream truck just turn into a nightmare on this list? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and subscribe for more eye-opening breakdowns before you buy your next ride.